But ZP, it's time to get into the series. It should be a good one. We're both kind of picking Dallas, but I feel like there's always room for Houston to win it too. I mean, this historically has been a matchup that's really gone back and forth between these two teams, but this year, 2021, kind of feels like Dallas has the edge. What do you say?
Yeah, Dallas has looked really, really good this year, and many people predicted they would look good. You know, some people were doubting in the beginning. At the beginning, even I was wondering, okay, will they really put it all together? But Dallas has not only looked really good, Doa, but they've also looked good in multiple different metas. This is a team that is very versatile, and at times, Doa, they don't even have to really conform to what everyone else is playing, which means that Dallas is an incredibly hard team to prepare for.
Yeah, the Element Mystic reunion tour continues to go pretty well for this squad. Obviously, Fielder, the only guy on the screen there that was not on that Element Mystic team, but has gelled with the rest of the players that work quite well. And it's just so much fun to watch players like Sparkle play. We heard Danny mention Hanbin, but I've really enjoyed Fearless. Like, lately, my thing in Overwatch for like the last year is just clicking flex, and like that usually means I play tank. So as I've played more tank, I've gained a lot more like respect and interest in how main tanks especially do things. So watching Fearless this season so far has been really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Fearless has been the heart and soul of this Dallas team, where you wonder, hey, how's your main tank going to perform? You don't actually wonder that when you watch Dallas, because you know Fearless is going to be playing out of his mind week in and week out. He is Mr. Reliable for the Dallas Fuel, and a big part of why they're doing well. And hey, this is a pretty good meta to have a great Winston in Doa.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at the Houston Outlaws team as well. And this is a team that's been very exciting ever since their win against the San Francisco Shock in the Melee qualifiers. I've just enjoyed watching, Janggu. But look at that. We have Dreamer in instead today. Is that interesting to you at all, ZP?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, of course, Dreamer was picked up in the middle of the season for a little bit of extra depth. And, oftentimes when teams go for those pickups, they don't necessarily work. But, I think if there's any team you trust in the judgment of the coaching staff, it's the Houston Outlaws. I think Jungspuk has done a great job with the team. And if Dreamer's coming in here, I think it makes sense. Not because of necessarily my own thoughts, but just the fact that I trust in the Houston coaching staff.
Yeah, it's hard to argue, and you and I were talking about this matchup a lot going into it, and ultimately at the end of the day, like, this is a matchup that is impossible to predict, because no matter what state these two teams have kind of been in relation to the other teams in the Overwatch League, they've always kind of tended to play it close. That said, so far this season, it's 6 map wins to 1 overall in terms of, Houston won 3-1, and then Dallas won 3-0 at the end last time. But they are meeting in a situation where one of them are going to knock the other one out of contention for the tournament. So you've got that excitement coming back around from the May stage of the Overwatch League this year too. As you can see, we're going to Busan for our first map.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I'll note about that matchup, Dallas won the one matchup that really mattered, where, you lose a regular season game at the starter. It's not great. You feel a lot better when you win the knockout games. And here we are again, Doa, where Dallas could be knocking Houston out of Hawaii contention once more. Houston, though, I talked with Jake a little bit before the match, Doa, and he just had really one thing to say. Time for revenge. And that's the mode that the Houston Outlaws are coming in with. So we'll see if they can deliver.
All right, yeah, I'm down for a bit of the revenge storyline. Like, that should be interesting. I did some climbing with Jake at the beginning of last year, I believe it was. I think it's pretty good. I watched him send a V6, which is... he's definitely better than me. Yeah. He's like 2 grades higher than me, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Makes sense. Here we go. Busan. No more climbing talk. It's all about which one of these players can climb into the June Joust tournament. See how I segued there? Was that? Never mind. Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws. And Outlaws, we kind of expected this, that they weren't necessarily going to just follow what the meta has been dictating to everybody else right now. They are going to kind of go their own way. And you always love to see players like Happy on the McCree.
Well, yeah, and also in this man, I think if anything can disrupt the so-called Dupligoats, the Neo-Goats that we've been seeing, it is a really good McCree player. And yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on your hit scan DPS, but if anyone can live up to that pressure, it's going to be Happy. And speaking of pressure, Happy already getting focused early into the fight. The Outlaws, though, hanging in there. They have to use Immortality Field really, really early, Doa.
Wow.
Might have been a little bit of a misplay, but Hanbin focused down. Team-backed early. Dante finishes it off. And the Outlaws coming in hot. 2 quick pickoffs, and this could be the first fight.
Yeah, the tanks for Dallas are down, and now it seems like a bit of cleanup unless Doan Sparkle can turn it around. But no, they are out of commission as well. And that Immortality Field was used relatively early in the fight, but if he can use that and channel it into a couple tank kills, that's the way to go. And honestly, if you're a team like Dallas Fuel and you see that go down, maybe you need to give that team a little bit of space. If you can't kill the actual object fast enough to get rid of that field. Otherwise, you run into these situations. So percentage early for Houston Outlaws, but Dallas back in action real fast here. Oh, there's a
this time they open with the goal. Crimzo under heavy pressure, able to immortality field, stay alive. Happy, Deadeye, back here on the flank, waiting. Doa's already taking out Dante's. Anything can happen from the Deadeye. Gets rid of Sparkle's clone, that's it. Outlaws now playing a man down. Happy, public enemy number 1. The focus coming in, and Doa just gets the crime of opportunity, takes down Crimzo, and the Fuel, a much better re-engage.
Yeah, I mean, they had everything their way that time. Even when the amplification matrix came down, you just saw Fearless just hop right over the top of that. The entire team followed, and they weren't able to get really any value of that Batiste ultimate on the Houston Outlaws side. And now the Dallas field taken right back. 33% for Houston, so not a bad first hold. Probably would have liked to get a little bit more, but they do have the tools as far as ultimates go to try to take this back. So
yeah, I mean, the scary thing, though, is that Fielder built another Cole in the middle of that. He opened last fight with Cole. He gets to open the next fight here with Cole as the Outlaws have to go through a very tiny doorway. And the Fuel, they're not letting them enter at all. Doha moves in on the cleanup, but it was the Cole setting the stage.
Oh, the door was slammed before it even got all the way open there. And you know, if you look at Houston Outlaws comp, you know, maybe this is one where it is tough to make the aggressive moves sometimes. You're usually approaching a little bit slower with the Orisa and the McCree. But Dallas, I mean, you called it, right? I mean, the coalescence and the ability of Doha to just walk in with the Death Blossom really worked out there. Let's see if Houston Outlaws has more luck with this push.
Well, again, round 2 of can we get through the door, starting the Houston Outlaws? No, you can't! The door was rigged with a bomb. Hotman explodes them all the way back, Doha. And Dante gets 2 cleanup kills as they go a little bit deep, but the Fuel still in control.
It's like I'm playing remote mines on a GoldenEye back in the day, man. You just can't go through a doorway without checking all the corners first. That's why that's going to happen. Jexay with the sound barrier now for at least a little bit of good defensive stuff for the next fight here is Houston kind of approaching one-fight territory where they need to win this one. Let's see. It looks like Dallas going in with the sound barrier again, though.
Happy got on the flank. Deadeye waiting, gets Jexa. Decent battle to start out, but they need to do the rest of this cleanly. Dante spins in the middle of Dallas, picking up another 2, and okay. The Outlaws, they should be able to go over, get a cap, but the Fuel, they're going to have 2-3 attempts, Doa, to bring this back and get round 1.
Yeah, I think if you're the Dallas Fuel, you're going to be pretty happy with things sitting at 95% right now. You've got some time to build up some ultimates, take a little bit of time with your approach here. Sparkle's going to have the duplicate pretty soon. Houston Outlaws gets a chance to hold now, which is really what this comp is better designed to do.
The Outlaws are going to open with the window. The Fuel, they're going to respect it, though. They're going to go, you know what, we'll wait a little bit. We'll wait for that to dissipate. We have time on our side, still potentially 2 fights, and now they move in. Doa going to the back. 92% doesn't quite build up the Death Blossom, now moving over. Sparkle already gets Crimzo. That's a lot of healing out of the fight early. And the Fuel just walk all over the Houston Outlaws where, you know, if you're running the McCree, Doa, you got to find something early, and if you don't, you're going to lose the fight.
Yeah, it's really tough on this point especially, too. If you would get Dovan, there's not a lot of room to maneuver. There's a lot of things to hide behind, but if the tank's right on top of you, they're going to take you out. There it is. Dallas Field with the first point here on Busan. Houston Outlaws did get that first cap, but Dallas more or less in control that entire time. I think they handled what the Outlaws were throwing at them pretty well. And that was a nice play at the end by Doha to get the flank there. He was close to a Death Blossom, and he did sort of put the pressure on both sides, which is what that Reaper's always trying to do as well. Houston Outlaws not able to quite handle the heat. We'll see if they do better here on round 2.
And I think the really key thing here, Doa, when you look between these two teams is that, you know, when you're running a McCree, you're waiting for the McCree to find a good pickoff. You're trying to give your McCree as much space and opportunity as possible. When the Fuel go in, they simply go in. Happy's not getting a lot of time between free time to shoot and the entirety of the Dallas Fuel roster being in his face. So it's a really good plan of denial coming in from the Fuel this far.
Yeah, totally true. And I mean, that's kind of what the comp is designed to do, right? I mean, you look at the tanks, you look at the supports, and you're like, oh, this will jump on top of me if I play something like McCree. So you really got to play it safe. If you're the Houston Outlaws, you got to create those hard points that are tough to assault, and that is not working out as Fearless grabs one already.
The coordination is unreal here, Doa. You blink and the fight is over. And you know, you just look at the way that's set up. The Outlaws were setting up in the flank. The Fuel slowly out of sight line set up. Everyone goes in at the same time. Fight ends. It's so well coordinated from the Fuel right now. And the Outlaws are just not getting the space needed for their composition to work.
So how do you stop this, right? And the immediate response will be like, well, you have to count on something like a flashbang from Happy when someone comes in. But you can't really get that if you've got a D.Va defense matrixing right on top of the Winston as he jumps forward, right? So they've kind of covered for that. And, you know, you've got the stun, I guess, from Brigida, but that's only going to hit one person. It's missable, right? So there's not a lot of good ways to stop the dive. You know, McCree can roll away, but that's not going to get him very far. But here comes Dallas again. They're going to take this aggressive fight on the defense, and it's working out so far. Juby down.
And the Cole just makes it easy. I mean, the Fuel didn't even have to overly dive in. They opened with the Cole. There wasn't a great answer for the Outlaws. They get Juby down immediately, and they just get to take it easy in this fight here, Doa, where now for the Outlaws, I do wonder if you look at this and go, hey, maybe this isn't working. You know, we have half a round left. Do you consider swapping? I think they're committed here for the rest of the map, but it's something they have to consider going forward if this trend continues the way it is.
I think it's a sign that Dallas Fuel is very comfortable, like we kind of knew they were in this meta, playing this kind of a Neo-Goats comp, as it were. And Houston Outlaws maybe don't have the best answer to it just yet. Happy with the Deadeye. Everybody gets behind the wall, though.
Yep. And this is what the Fuel are doing. It's like, well, we're just going to hide from Happy. We're going to hide behind walls all the while. And then we're going to dive in. It's the, you know, make Happy look at wall strategy. But here we go again, the Fuel. Now they engage. Fearless over the top, Primal ready. And look who he's going for. Hits the back going, no, McCree, you're not going to win this. You're going to have to deal with me. Meanwhile, the Fuel are just crushing the front line. Dante was able to get one, but it's not nearly enough.
That was really well played by Fearless. You saw he dove in with the Primal Rage, but he didn't use his leap every single time it was off cooldown. He waited for the flashbang to come out so it would hit him at a farther distance away from the McCree, and he wouldn't be able to get as easy of just like a right click on that Winston. He knew exactly how to approach that, as you'd expect he did, but able to go for the McCree, the Brigida, the perfect targets for Fearless. Really great tank to watch.
Final opportunity for the Outlaws. I'm not sure it's looking very good. They lose Piggy immediately. Fielder again. Yet another coalescence. We'll see if the Outlaws can do anything to bring this back. They have a Deadeye, Death Blossom, both on track. Rally still in effect. Dante, Death Blossom, moving in. Happy's able to get off the Deadeye. They still need more, though. They lost Juby. The sustain might not be as good, but okay, there's a start. Dante gets Chexa. The Outlaws still fighting, but it's a long way to go here, Doa, and still not at all secure.
Yeah, I'm wondering when Hanbin's going to choose to use that self-destruct. There it is right there. Can everyone get away from it? They can. Happy gets a kill onto Hanbin before he's able to remech as well. So it's looking good for Houston Outlaws at the moment. Looks like they're going to be able to get some percentage going. Another coalescence used by Fielder, but I think that one might have been better off saved. That said, though, no, never mind. You got a kill. ZP, are they going to turn this around? Fielder gets two.
It's the power of Cole. It compels you, Doa. It just constantly up. Fielder just has a beam in the Outlaws' face, basically 24/7 the way this panned out. And that's going to be map one. And Doa, it was not close.
It really wasn't, CP. It's rough if you're the Houston Outlaws. I mean, the Dallas Fuel just had your number that entire time. Fearless just all over Happy from second one. And, you know, I think it's back to the drawing board for the Houston Outlaws. Now, Control's a map type where you can just fight, right? You can just do those engages every time everyone's together, and you can win those fights. It's very brawly, obviously. When we go to other maps where you've got the attack and defense, you've got set plays and things, we'll see if the Outlaws have something a little bit different planned there. But so far, it's all Dallas Fuel. Easy 2-0 for them on Busan. We'll see if they can keep the momentum going. When we come back, don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
I've done it! A golden states! A golden crown! Overwatch League champion! It is the moment that you have been waiting for! Houston Outlaws going up against the Dallas Fuel, the Battle of Texas.
We had a sold-out crowd both days, and that environment, all I can say is that it was just pure energy.
There were 3 showdowns in the inaugural season, and Houston won all of them. It was one of the rivalries that the Overwatch League pushed that actually worked because fans bought into it. It did get that's the homestand.
Dallas-Houston is one of those things that just was hyped from the get-go.
It was the culmination in a lot of ways of years of build-up between our two teams.
This is the battle for the Owl Corral right here, and we'll see who flies their flag over Texas tonight.
When you saw the Outlaws fans and the Dallas Fuel fans in person filling up an entire arena and cheering the way they did and the energy that they had, we were able to identify how big this rivalry could really be.
They were there to see us, and we were there to put on a show.
Dallas Fuel, they take it home!
The moment when we did beat the Houston Outlaws and the fans were chanting OG's name, OG just started shedding tears of joy.
시즌을 치르고 있는 동안에 팀원들한테 엄청 조금 더 나은 팀메이트가 될 수 있었는데 이제 그걸 뭐 좀 못했는데도 이제 제가 다운돼 있을 때 격려해주고 해서 그때 이제 잘 이겨내고 해서 경기를 이겨가지고 좀 감정이 좀 그렇게 약간 울컥한 것도 있고 그런 엄청 많은 사람들이 제가 경기를 하는 걸 응원해주고 이제 이름도 불러주고 그런 경험 자체를 한다는 거를 생각지도 못했고 이제 그런 경험을 제가 했다는 거에 대해서 엄청 고맙고 해서 이제 좀 울컥해진 것 같아요.
The battle for Texas, they win it for the first time. The Fuel able to take it here in front of the home crowd.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. Let's check out our power rankings with IBM Watson. As you can see, we've got a lot of players from both teams in the top 20. I mean, what do you say, ZP? It's not really unexpected with the level that they've been playing at.
No, not at all. I mean, this has been a dream come true for Texas fans here in the Overwatch League, where, as mentioned, both of these teams in years past have not always had the best of teams, but this year, I mean, you look at it, they're both packed with talent, and it shows in their records, it shows in their reputation. But right now, between the two teams, Doa, one is playing what has seemingly been the meta, and they've been dominant so far, so you have to wonder if Houston has what it takes to adapt and turn things around.
I'll also point out only one of the Houston players was in the top 10 too. And that is noteworthy, I suppose. We're gonna go, like you said, ZP, to Hanamura next, and we are doing things tournament style today, so that means the team that lost the previous map will get to choose the next one. And as you can see, there's been some pretty fast times from Dallas Fuel on this map. They have been speedrunning this one.
Yeah, they really have. And I mean, again, also that's Control. Control sometimes a map type where you take a look at it and it can be a little bit more variable. The chaos there can make things look a little bit more uneven than things really are. And hey, sometimes the team that wins the series loses Control and then goes on to win 3 straight. But we'll see if the more methodical nature of the other game modes play to the Outlaws' favor, especially if they do come out with this McCree composition again.
Yeah, I am really curious to see if Houston is going to switch things up, because clearly what we saw on Busan was not working. As you can see, of course, Tracer, Sombra, Reinhardt, Zenyatta not available. Shed a tear for Zenyatta. That's what I do every morning when I'm going to cast the Overwatch League, and I know I'm not going to be able to cast Zenyatta. It's a sad day.
Well, you know what? He'll be back in the Summer Showdown, Doa. He'll make his grand return if teams decide to play him. You never know. He could be thrown in meta jail as opposed to actual jail as it is.
I think teams would love to play him right now if they could. But one of the reasons we get to see the comps that we're seeing, including a Road Dogg once in a while, is because then it's not in the meta and that Discord orb isn't flying around. But here we are on Busan as well, and it looks like Houston Outlaws, ZP, going with something similar to what we saw in Busan.
Yeah, and I'll say this, though. I think this puts more restrictions on the Outlaws in that because their control looked so weak, if they're going to run this composition all series long, they basically do need the rattle off 3 straight because I don't think they're winning a control versus Dallas with this composition. So we'll see
I think you'd have
if
to
they can
agree,
start
yeah.
here on Hanamura.
Got Sparkle on the Genji. Cool. So a little bit of a variation from Dallas Fuel. No Reaper here. We do see a lot of Genji on this point anyway. Oh, not much more Genji at this moment, though, as looks like Houston are off to a pretty good start on the defense. They handled the dive quite well that time.
Yeah, this looked far better for the Outlaws. They had time to set up and, relative to control, right? The Fuel aren't quite running the same composition, but you also have a lot more space for players like Happy to set up, be in a good position, right? So this is definitely playing far more to what the Outlaws want to do right now.
Yeah, you've got the double shield from Piggy and Dreamer here, but check it out. Sparkle swaps over to the Doomfist immediately. If you can't shoot through the shields, just punch through them, and that's going to be the plan. From the back line, dislodging people from behind the Orisa. Gets stunned. We'll see if this works out, though. They're pushing in.
Well, they had to use the Immortality Field early just to stay alive, and Sparkle will not be denied. Already gets Happy. Looking for more. This is the best possible place for a Doomfist to be. Oh, moving to and fro. Another one. Sparkle with 3, Doa. And that is a quick point for the Fuel. Very nice adjustment coming in.
Oh my goodness. The deadliest Smash brother is Sparkle. It looks like it's going to be a point A for Dallas Fuel, and just that one adaptation changed the fight completely. Doomfist able to knock people out from behind the shield, able to create a lot of chaos in that little room behind the high ground point that the Houston Outlaws can set up on. Not a lot of room to run to if you're a squishier hero like McCree. That worked out well for Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, the Outlaws right now, they just need to take some breathing room, slow things down a bit. You don't want to lose point B quickly. And they're going to use a Flux here. We'll see if the follow through's there. Flux comes in. They get Doa out of the fight. And even just one pick off. Okay, both DPS down. Stick a fork in it. This push is done. And that's what the Outlaws needed here, Doa. Just slow things down a bit.
Right. I mean, that really seems like that's kind of the theme for Dallas, is to just go as fast and furious as they possibly can into the Outlaws' defense. Outlaws, though, with a lot of resources now to use, and if they can do it efficiently, they might be able to get a pretty good hold. This is one of those points that's a little bit trickier to assault sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I mean, Hanamura B is promised to no team, as well say, but now Sparkle,
nice
a little bit
engage
sneaky
by Sparkle.
movement. Yeah, he goes in already. Juby out of the fight, but Happy off in the flank. Deadeye gets both supports for the Dallas Fuel, so even though the Fuel gets some pickups here, Doa, there's not a lot of healing support to go in here. So as respawns come in for the Outlaws, they have a chance to flip it back, but they have to start contesting this now. 2 ticks already gone. How long can the Fuel, without the healing support, live? And the answer right now, Doa, is pretty long. Fearless picks off Juby, and time is starting to run out, but so is Sparkle's HP.
I mean, if they can get another kill or two, they can finish this off. But like you said, without the supports, it gets a little bit trickier. Luckily, they've got Fielder and Jexay back again. And maybe they could quite do it. Fearless has the ultimate now, but they're still short-handed. They lost their Moira. Nearly have the point, but this one just might not be it. They need a little bit more.
Yeah, and the Outlaws, I mean, they're on the verge of turning this around. Fearless is going to get thrown out. So, yeah, Dallas should reset, but they don't go away empty-handed. They get 2 ticks this early into a Hanamura B attack. They have to be feeling pretty good about where they're at.
I wonder if you swap now if you're Sparkle. The Doomfist was kind of a point A thing. It worked out. You used your ultimate. He has had some success with it. Looks like he's going to stick with it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget at times because it hasn't always been meta, but Doomfist is one of Sparkle's signature heroes going all the way back to his Contenders days. So even if a lot of teams wouldn't necessarily run Doom here, I'll never look at Sparkle and be like, don't run Doom, because he can make things happen that don't really happen with other Doomfists.
Right, well, we saw just what he did earlier, that sort of side engage to get into the back line and circumvent the stairs. They're going to kind of do the same thing here. Oh, they did have to send Doha on the run first here, but they do dislodge Houston from the high ground.
Yeah, it's a good early engage, and now the key part for the Outlaws, look out for Sparkle. Sparkle has so many ways to engage from here off the top. The Outlaws, though, have tools of their own. Sparkle, though, already takes out Juby. Dante spinning and spinning. Happy, Deadeye from the flank, gets Fielder. They still need more. Happy's already out of the fight, so Happy can't be the savior here. The Outlaws have to make something happen soon. Piggy still holding on to the self-destruct. Dante out of the fight. And I think the self-destruct going to be flying here in just a moment here, Doa, as the tank's the one holding on to the point here for the Fuel. Fearless diving in deeper, gets Crimzo. The Outlaws are in real danger.
That was a great play by Doha to copy the Ana to give the Nano Boost over to Fearless. Oh, but Piggy with the 2K self-destruct turns it right back around for Houston here.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they needed. Piggy was holding on to the self-destruct for a while, gets serious value when it finally gets thrown out, and the Fuel now, they're still on the point, but they gotta back out once more. And this time they do walk away more empty-handed. I think they added a little bit to their overall percentage, but it won't help them actually get that second point.
Yeah, that looked good when the fight started. I mean, they weathered the storm in terms of the nano-boosted Death Blossom that came in from Dante and Crimzo. They had their own sound barrier after that ended. They didn't even need to use it for that initial engage. And then, just couldn't hold on. They couldn't get the fight won cleanly enough to take a point like you need a clean fight to take.
Crimzo got a really nice bio-nade to delay things just a little bit more there. Fuel trying to wait up, and again, the Outlaws are going to concede the high ground. Fight here to the back. Happy looking for the Deadeye. Skull's coming up. Is he going to get anything? Patience, name of the game here. Waiting. Oh, gets two. Patience pays off, Doa.
Yep, waiting it to the very, very end of the channel for that cast, and Dallas Fuel getting a little bit impatient, showing themselves and getting picked off. So they have to back up again. And there's a lot of time used by the Houston Outlaws. Certainly not going to be anywhere close to record time for Dallas, even if they do take it at this point. There's only a little over 50 seconds remaining for them. They've got the Primal Rage, but they don't really have a lot of other tools to do it with. Might see a hold here.
This has been really good for the Outlaws to drain the clock, because point A, not so good with them. They immediately got rolled over by Doomfist after a quick swap. Point B, this is winnable regardless of what the Fuel do on this next attack. And they're going for a sneakier approach here as Fearless down to arguably the sewers of Hanamura, ground floor, when they go up top and get a little bit angry.
Yep. Fearless again. He's got the Primal Rage locked and loaded. He can use it if he gets in the back line here. They're just going to try to force the engage. And here's the Primal Rage now. It was close, but he knew what he was doing.
Fearless goes in, 700 HP, still has the nano. The Outlaws get dropped the beat. Oh, Dante goes down! Dante, no chance to drop the Death Blossom. The Outlaws at 5. The Fuel still at 6. Doha finds Juby. The Fuel being methodical here, Doha. And now they just need a little bit more. No one yet to fall. Hanbin, a little bit of danger, gets debacked. And the Outlaws can't stay on the point.
Wow, all right. Dreamer just not quite able to stay on the point there, and Dallas takes it. I was surprised too. I thought the fight was going to keep going for a while, but the important thing for the Houston Outlaws is they did push it all the way to overtime. 0 time left for Dallas Fuel despite getting those 2 points. Now we'll see if Dallas can put together a little bit more of a stalwart defense here. If you're Houston, though, you might be sort of kicking yourself a little bit on that one. It was tough at the end to make sure everyone was on there, but you want to make sure you're keeping people on the point when it's that close.
Yep, we go from the chaos of point B to tranquility here, Doa. Yeah. Masking
the same word there.
Just masking all the brutality right underneath the surface here.
Yep. True enough. Well, the Houston Outlaws looked, despite having 2 points taken against them, they did look more comfortable. Let's check out this engage from Sparkle. This is my favorite one here.
You gotta love his Doomfist movement, finding opportunities, and this is where they didn't get the point entirely, but they got 2 ticks, and it really limited how the Outlaws could play defense from there on out, because you just play differently when you have nothing left to give on the point. But now, Doa, still very winnable for the Outlaws. They've looked better here on Assault than they did in Control, and now we'll see if they can make this work on the attack with McCree Reaper composition.
Yeah. Just got to protect that back line. You have to make sure that Happy's safe, basically. And we're going to check out Doha's view and look at this. Sneaky Doha in behind already, and the dive comes in from Talus. They certainly love it. They're certainly good at it.
Yeah, that was great. Doha just surveys the land, goes, I'm going to drop down, take you out immediately. Now, it doesn't come without a cost. Both Sparkle and Jexa fall a little bit later into the fight. I don't think the Outlaws are going to be able to capitalize too much off of this, but on the same note, the Fuel won't be able to hold up as high. So the Outlaws, they're going to try and push this a little bit quicker, Doa, just to get through this choke point, a little bit less contested.
Yep. Sure enough. Looks like everybody's back now for Dallas. They are off to the side here, which is a little bit of an awkward place to defend from. Houston, though, they can still go in with this Coalescence.
Ooh. And that's the aggression we saw all the way back to map 1, where the Fuel, they just hide, they wait, they dive in with the coal, and immediately just wipe the Outlaws off the map. And so far, this Orisa composition that the Outlaws have been running with in a way, it's almost too slow to deal with this sort of aggression from the Fuel unless everything goes right.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see fights that look very similar to what we saw in Busan, where, Houston Outlaws just basically has Dallas jump past them and just destroy that squishier backline. And when you think about Point A, it does kind of operate like a control point to a certain extent in that way. And now Dallas has it right where they want them. Let's see if they can continue it here. There's the copy. Going to copy the Diva. Force Dallas back, or force Houston back even more.
Yep, we're full triple tank right now for the Dallas Fuel. First self-destruct heading out. Just to let Sparkle remake it. Oh, he's going for it. He's going for the remake kill. Not quite, but it does create space for Hanbin. Gets the bomb over the top, and it's still a one fight for the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, that's right. Looked for that call down mech kill, didn't quite get it, but they're going to be satisfied with this. And Houston Outlaws a little less than 2 minutes remaining now. Late kill on Piggy just to slow down the next attack from Houston that much more. Every second certainly counts. And the big story here, ZP, is what we always talk about. When it takes so long to take an earlier point, is that when you get to those more difficult ones later on, such as Point B Hanamura, then you really start to think how much in trouble you are as the Houston Outlaws. And Doha being sneaky again. They don't know he's there.
Oh no! He gets it! Immediately takes down Dante. And yeah, he gets stunned out of it towards the end, but the damage has been done, Doha. And again, the Outlaws are just getting out-engaged at every opportunity right now. The Fuel, they're quick, they're agile. The Outlaws, they're like a lumbering behemoth. Their composition has a lot of power, but man, they can't put it in the right place before the Fuel strike a vital point.
I mean, they're like that boss in every Zelda game that's like super armored from the front so you can't hit it, but if you go behind, it's got like a tender underbelly or a tender backside that you can like shoot arrows into, right? And like Dallas just knows how to get the monster to turn around, or they just jump behind it, right?
They know how to strike the tender underbelly. That's what we're seeing.
They certainly do.
Happy
underbelly
in the back right now. That's a supercharger. He gets two already.
The underbelly strikes back.
Yeah, okay, that was the counter there, and a lot of it just came from Supercharger, where Happy had enough space, didn't go down early in the Supercharger, finally lets the Outlaws break through the Point A. But, one thing you astutely brought up, Doa, is that, they get Point A, but they don't have a great amount of time for Point B right now, so we'll see how it pans out. 3 minutes left to go to put another point on the board.
Well, now if you're Houston, you need to be the team with the momentum. You need to be the ones to not let Dallas get too situated here and just keep pushing, right? See if they can do it. They're not going to get up those stairs, though. Now with the coalescence from Fielder there. It'd be very difficult.
Yeah, I don't know if this is, as you say, this is a tough area to go through with Cole on deck. And yet, the same note, I mean, the Outlaws would love to get the high ground, running the McCree, and already Sparkle gets caught. So now the Fuel, they have to engage in reaction to that, and it's still pretty good. They get both supports down, so even down Sparkle, the front line for the Fuel is strong enough to just win the fight outright.
It's okay, ZP. Sparkle was merely a distraction. He was just there to sacrifice himself to get the giant Houston monster to turn around and expose their tender underbelly. And it worked, I guess.
The Houston underbelly is apparently the theme of the match right now, as the Fuel relentlessly go after it. But that has been the theme thus far. 2 minutes left to go, though, Doa. We'll see if the Outlaws can find a way through, but if they're going to do it, now would be the time, as Cole is not online.
Well, we'll see what Doha can set up with this Death Blossom. He's been really trying to be crafty about it, but Houston Outlaws, they know the tricks, right? He's going to try to go around from behind. They're going to know he's there. It doesn't matter. Dante's down, and Doha might just be able to save this.
The engaged power coming out of the Fuel is just unreal, and I would say it's part composition, part the Dallas tanks playing really well, but a lot of these fights, though, they haven't even been fights. It's just Dallas engages, and it's over. It's just over so quickly.
Yeah. And again, it's kind of like what we were talking about a bit on Busan, where when that engage happens, when everyone's on the same page on a composition like the Fuel is running, when you go in as a unit, what tools do the Houston Outlaws really have to stop that? Again, the defense matrix will nullify something like the flashbang. Juby just has the one shield bash, and that's really about it as far as hard crowd control. Sure, you've got the halt from Orisa, but very difficult to, use that if the team is already on top of you. You have to use it before they get there somehow, and they can try to go again. Doha.
Out early, this time stunned out of the Death Blossom. The Outlaws, best opportunity they've had so far. The Cole is fading. The Outlaws
Huge.
on the high ground. Dante gets fielded. That's huge. 6 on 5 now for the Outlaws. Under a minute left to go, but Dante has made his mark known. Happy, still healthy in the backline. Everything going the way of the Outlaws this time, Doa.
Yeah.
And, the boss might have been leveling up. It might have put some armor on that underbelly for this push. But self-destruct from the flank coming in. The fuel not giving up yet. Beat comes out. Hits 5. This is going to be a full re-engage now coming in from the fuel. The Outlaws holding back, looking for a pickoff. They get Fearless. That's huge. Sparkle on a window prayer. Sniped down the sky by Dante, but they've lost both their supports, Noah. The Outlaws are not going to have sustain. Happy gets picked off. And with 20 seconds left, the fuel just about have this. If only the Outlaws could get 1 or 2 more pickoffs. The problem is the healing's not going to be there. Dante now very much outgunned.
Yep. That's right. He's going to barely get out with the TP, but he's only got about 100 HP. All right, he got the health back again. Houston with maybe one more chance here. Oh, no, they lose Dreamer as Sparkle swap back to the Doomfist here. Juby does cause overtime to occur, so maybe they can get it. Dante does get a big one.
No way.
Oh, Dante?
No way.
He's down,
They need
though.
more than that, though. Yeah.
A lot more, yeah. Crimzo down now. It's going to be tough. There goes Piggy, and yeah, it looks like the Dallas Fuel will hold here. Dreamer not able to get a whole lot done just on his own, and the self-destruct will seal the deal as the Dallas Fuel will go up 2-0 in the series. Houston Outlaws making them work for a little bit at the end there, ZP, but Fuel just looking a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I think the other thing, too, is that you think about the ease of execution between what the two teams are running right now, Doa, where, the Fuel, it's super well coordinated, right? Like, they're looking really, really good as they go in, but in the end, it's, all right, everyone go. Whereas the Outlaws, by comparison, they have to play a lot more reactive to what the Fuel are doing, and, in a lot of ways, it's just ceding a lot of advantage to the Fuel, and they're more than willing to take it.
That is correct. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the Houston Outlaws can stay alive or if the Dallas Fuel will punch their ticket to the June Joust tournament. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, we've loved seeing your awesome artistic creations this season on the Fan Art Gallery by Coca-Cola. This week, we want you to submit your favorite Overwatch League player enjoying a cold Coca-Cola beverage for a chance to be featured on the gallery. Submit your art at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. I wish I could submit you, ZP. I know you're not a player, but you do love the Coca-Cola beverage. You probably got one in your hand right now.
Yeah, not quite in my hand, but definitely in the room. Perhaps multiple, Noah. This is very well documented. So, if nothing else, I'm on brand. I don't have to hide it. Very much on brand.
True. You like this partnership. Let's take a look at Crimzo here. Of course, a former Dallas Fuel player looking for a little payback, but it has not gone super well so far today, has it?
No, it hasn't. I mean, Crimzo went to the bank and goes, yeah, I would like to get some pay, and they're like, no, nothing is available. Nothing is going on, because what we've seen so far is that Dallas Fuel have been playing the meta. They have been incredibly fast and agile, and I mean, the Outlaws are just getting out-engaged. There's nothing more to say about it. They're losing fights, Noah, before they begin.
Yep, that's right. Soon they will be the out of contention for June Joust tournament laws if they don't turn it around right here on this, what is again their map pick, because the losing team does get to pick the next map. We are going to Eichenwalde for our hybrid map, and it is do or die for the Outlaws here in yet another Texas showdown. Now, remember in the May Melee, we had a similar situation where Dallas and Houston played against each other to decide who was going on, and Dallas won that one 3-0. History, ZP, may be about to repeat itself.
Yeah, I mean, if this ends up being a 3-0 or Dallas just winning the series, I mean, the number one strategy for the Outlaws going into the Summer Showdown is going to be, what is the exact math we need to avoid Dallas before Hawaii? Because this is, one match is just a one-off. 2 matches, especially if this one is this dominant, well, Doa, it's a trend. So the Outlaws, should they lose here, definitely going to have to do some soul-searching. But it is on Eichenwalde now, Doa. Teams have done reverse sweeps before here in the Overwatch League, and you take a look at what the Outlaws are showing right now. I think they are bowing down to the meta from the looks of it.
Yep. Oh, yes, the Urenkular.
A little bit. Well, they're playing the Brig or the Lucio, so it's not...
Urenkular. Maker of fine clocks for a million years.
Yep.
I don't know. So let's go, Dallas on the attack. Houston on the defense here, and they've swapped things up, CP. Check it out. The meta has taken over in the Houston coaching room, it looks like.
But they're running the break, so it's going to be a little bit slower, but a little bit tankier with a little bit more punish towards the front line. So I do wonder if this is going to be focused on Fearless goes in, Fearless goes out type of gameplay. And we'll see what Focus Fire comes in. The Fuel, though, Doa, they're not going to waste a whole lot of time. Already moved to the right hand of the point, but they see what the Outlaws are running, and they don't care. They just go immediately going, we are happy to take the spear. We're going to rush right in. And Sparkle going in with Hanbin. Dreamer immediately out of the fight. And look at this. The Fuel, they're going to heal up. They're going to have a full 6. The Outlaws, this is going to be very hard to bring back. And now just about impossible with Juby out of the fight.
Yeah, Dante does get the kill onto Sparkle, but with the other support for Houston falling, it is looking a bit grim on the Houston side, as 2 ticks have already been taken, and they're going to come and finish off Dante. It's a Reaper battle. There can be only one, and it's Doha. Doha's the one.
Yeah, that wasn't really the final showdown there, Doha. That was like seeing the protagonist as they just take down, a level 1 mercenary at the start of the start of the battle.
I guess so.
It was not close.
Just absorbs his power. Well, the payload is moving. Fielder has a coalescence, and that's pretty much the way it always is. Fielder with a coalescence in the story of the match.
On the upside for the Outlaws, they'll have a coal of their own, so they'll be able to match coal for coal. And they're going to need to do something soon because they're already in a hole here in Eichenwalde. The Fuel with 5 minutes left to go, and Fielder opens things up with the coal. Crimzo in response. Dante, duplicate is out. Doha, Death Blossom over to the back. Dante, gonna set the bomb in the middle of the fight. What's it gonna get? It is gonna force the Fuel back a little bit. One of the only things to do so in the series so far. And now the beat comes out from the Fuel. Another Death Blossom. Dante's bomb catches Doha. And now the Outlaws.
How about another self-destruct?
Why not?
You get a self-destruct. You get a self-destruct.
Everyone exploding.
Everyone gets a self-destruct. Well, Dallas does have to back away at the end there, yeah.
Yeah, the Outlaws have got a little bit more here. Jexa's had the fight. And, people wonder, hey, can the Outlaws, play? It's not entirely a mirror, but similar type of composition with the Brigida. And, second fight, not too bad, though.
No, and when it came down to it, I think Dante was a big part of that, where he was able to copy the D.Va, get in the back line, absorb a lot of that damage with the defense matrix, and just be a hassle. But here we go again. Coalesces for Fielder as Dallas gets back into it, killing the Juby immediately, and there goes Dante as well.
This is a running theme here, Doe, at this point. You can't just look at this and go, yeah, that's the first pickoff. No, Juby is target number 1 with these Coles. Fielder pops Cole, it goes on the Juby, and the Outlaws are immediately down Brigida because you're running a Brigida. I mean, it's fairly easy to focus fire. She's not as mobile as Lucio to get out of that situation. So, the choice of the Brig might be haunting the Outlaws a bit here.
Well, it's another situation where it's like, I know you don't want to play the meta, Houston, but like, there's a reason why this comp that Dallas is running is a comp that everybody's talking about right now. Ooh, Crimzo with the flanking coalescence, but can you really get a lot from this? They do push Dallas back a little bit, but they didn't really get any kills out of it. Now Dallas can re-engage.
Yeah, they got space, but here's the problem. Look at Fielder. 87, 90, about to have a Cole of his own. Self-destruct from Sparkle, making more space. The Outlaws had to respect it. They had to give up room. Doa again slamming the door in the Outlaws' face. Death Blossom doesn't let them pass. They get to save the Cole for the next fight, and 4 minutes, 21 seconds left to go, Doa. This has been fast.
A Reaper in a doorway is like the most dangerous revolving door ever. I mean, I know those kind of like freak people out a little bit. You kind of feel like you're going to get pinched every time you go through one. But the Reaper revolving door, I don't even want to get close to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the second most dangerous revolving door I've ever seen, the first being in any average hotel. But Fielder gonna drop the Cole, and again it's Juby! He just dropped Cole, killed Juby, over and over and over again, Doa. That's all we're seeing.
I mean, it's exactly like you said, though, ZP. Like, if you're the Brigida, you need a wall to hide behind, or you're just gonna get zapped. There's no other option. Unless you're like close enough to the Moira to somehow, shield basher, right? Or maybe you can whip shot, but the damage comes in so fast, and Dallas just slamming through this. Are they going to get there? That was so close. What? 1 meter to go. They got to win one more fight, though.
Well, Dreamer's already gone. The beat is in. Fielder 35% away from another Cole. Self-destruct from Sparkle. Looking to make room. The Outlaws have to stand the point. Wall dodging bomb after bomb here, Doha. It's not a fun proposition. The green is just getting crushed in the kill feed. Sparkle in over the top. Tried to shut down the Cole, not quite. Fielder, though, has built yet another Cole. The Outlaws forced back, and they can't stay on the point.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's another round where a few people from Houston were alive, and they just couldn't stay near the point. Too much damage. Dante gets a couple parting self-destruct kills after the fact for the moral victory, I suppose. But it is going to be Dallas finishing with a lot of time in the time bank remaining. 3 minutes and 3 seconds will be their time bank, and that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, and on the flip side, none of this feels good for the Outlaws right now, where it's like, we have to complete Eichenwalde. We're back to it again.
Oh, Gutenbäckerei, which clearly means pretzel. See, because that's the icon above that. It's a pretzel.
Yeah.
Today we learned.
I could buy that.
Learning
also,
German
I'm sure as you were
Doa.
trying to pronounce that, Zoe was just cringing with every fiber
Visit
being
the
going.
Computerwelt von Rittgen.
If you keep this up,
von Rittgen was the name of one of my MMO characters once.
Yes.
Don't
I have to warn you if you keep this up?
Mittagskrug. You know, I'm half German. This is actually very sad. My mom's side of the family would be very sad.
Zoe's about to join us for a
trip.
watch back. She's going to castigate you here, Doa. Just absolutely chastise you within an inch of your life for what you're doing with this pronunciation.
I'm sorry, Mom. Well, Fearless denying a lot there, but this was the revolving door of death moment. And when a giant gorilla gets trapped in a revolving door, that's a dangerous situation for everybody.
Yeah, it's not great. So the Outlaws are going to come out. Juby will again be on the Brigida, and again, I call it as I see it here, Doa. And where's Cole? Where's Juby? Because we've just seen that over and over again. We'll see if the Outlaws can somehow do anything to avoid that as they take to the attack.
Yep. Happy doing what he can, trying to load as much damage into the Dallas team as he possibly is able, but Dallas just waiting for that moment to go in, waiting for Fielder to build up that coalescence, but it's going to be Crimzo that gets his first this time. There it is.
Fuel. Hanging back. The Outlaws, decent early opening, but
Wait it out.
just
Why
about
not?
up for the Outlaws, and it's up for Fielder. And all right, QB's still alive. That is one upside here for the Outlaws. Did not go onto the Brigida. But here we go. Sparkle onto the duplicate. Moves over. Dreamer already out of the fight. The Fuel just pushing the Outlaws back now.
And a parting
After
gift.
What was a long sustain?
That's tricky. Oh, you got Dante as well. Yeah, nowhere to hide if you're floating in the air when that comes over the wall. But Dante probably want to go back to spawn to join his team anyway. But look at Dallas now. 4 ultimates ready to go for the next fight. And that's a pretty good start to the defense. And we saw them handle the early coalescence from Crimzo really well. They just said, all right, they back away. And I think that's something that we haven't touched on yet for Dallas Fuels. They know when to engage. It's not just all gas, no brakes, right? They know when to back off too. Oh, Doha hiding in the room, gets stunned though. No kills out of that one.
Yep.
Does force him back.
Is shift out. Outlaws though. Gonna drop a coal of their own. Dreamer finds Jex it early on. Now Doha looking to equalize. 2 already down to the Fuel in a rough spot this team fight. The Outlaws have found their opportunity. Dreamer back around to the point. The Fuel, I think at this point, just trying to back out and regroup, come back in at the last moment. But the Outlaws doing everything possible to just keep them far away. And now the Fuel, they're going to give up point.
Yep. Payload is moving. They've been probed, apparently. That is a great spray to use when you're playing Moira.
It is pretty fitting. But now,
Coalescence does that.
Fuel. Yep.
So Jexay saved his sound barrier, so they've got a chance for a decent defense here early on. See if they can hold the gate a little bit. Sparkle goes Diva for a moment.
Yep, it's going to be triple tank once more for the Fuel. They drop the beat right at the right time. Not letting Happy get too much off the Death Boss of self-destruct. In over the top again! Sparkle finds Dante where... Yeah, the Diva Bomb's been on point for Sparkle, especially to his counterpart. And again, Doha, this just delays the Outlaws even more.
Yeah. And, you know, again, like, it's all about taking time, right? Dallas Fuel have such a great time bank that the more they can drain from Houston right now, the more they can get that edge if we end up going to that point in the map. Houston had better hope we do, because if they lose this map, the series is over. And that's a good start for them.
Yeah, this is a really good opening. Doha gets booped. Could have been dangerous, but instead it's a pretty good boop. Gets him out of the line of battle. The Outlaws, Dreamer and Piggy are so low here. Dreamer goes down. Piggy able to get healed back up. The Outlaws still a bit of an edge here. The Fuel going to be the backup. Give some space. But remember, Doha, we're fighting a battle of time right now. The Outlaws need to finish with at least 1 second on the clock, where this is basically over.
Yeah, the Outlaws basically win the war of attrition there in that fight, but Houston does manage to, again, you know, delay quite a bit. And now they've got the high ground here. They can jump down. Houston has to be a little bit careful, right? Self-destruct coming in. No kills out of that one. Well, Hanbin did go down, though, before he could get back in the mech.
Yeah, Hanbin was able to get back in. Sparkle now, dropping a self-destruct. Where's Dante? Is Dante going to live this time? Oh, got his flow. Yeah, he's still in there, though. This time Dante lives to tell the tale. Now self-destruct in from Piggy. Where's this one going to go? Down and over, catches Fielder. Pays a price for it, though. Doha was there on the punish.
Yeah. All right, so Houston's still kind of grinding forward just a little bit. They got more distance on the payload. Looks like they're going to get even more now.
Yeah, this is good momentum in their side, but it's still quite a ways away to go here. This is not free at all. But this is what they need to do here, Doha. 2 minutes left remaining. And I think for the Outlaws, to give themselves the best possible chance, they need to win this fight. They have all the ults they need. If they somehow lose this here, it's basically done.
Yeah. All right. So they don't quite get there. Dallas able to re-engage before point B is taken completely.
Hanbin, though, in danger. Hanbin's getting focused a lot and is happy.
Yeah.
Got to the back, finishes off Fielder, and if you're the Fuel, you give this up now. This is not happening, barring the most miracle boop of boops. So the Outlaws, they get into point C. They have 3 minutes left, and they've been looking better than they have all series long.
Yeah, they certainly have. And unfortunately for them, we already know they're going to have less time in the time bank than Dallas if they're able to complete this push. But the push has been going well. A big part of it is Happy has been able to find these backline engages, and you notice that that Fielder's been dropping first in a lot of these fights lately. Houston's starting to figure it out here.
Yeah, I mean, their focus fire has been way better. They're putting pressure on the Fielder, pressure on the Hanbin. Duplicate out early for the Outlaws here. Dante dropping the self-destruct, looking for space. So is Sparkle. Self-destructs on both sides. The bombs are raining down again. And the Outlaws right now just looking for an edge. Right now they're focusing firing onto Fearless. Fearless at half HP in the back. Doha seizing the opportunity, finds Juby off the Death Blossom. Happy though, returns fire. The Outlaws still in a decent spot, but now 4v4, the Fuel, they're almost okay with this. They just can't get fully wiped.
Yeah, the thing is the Fuel, you know, I mean, they've got the respawn advantage right now. They're going to come back closer than Houston will. So you can kind of fight this messy, scrappy sort of fight and just delay the payload and kind of eat time off the time bank. They've already gotten a minute advantage out of it.
Call out from Prinzo. Fuel dropping the beat in response. Cole about to go down. Dreamer under heavy focus fire here, Doha. Look at his HP, just barely able to shift out of line of sight. But here comes Fielder. And this time he targets Dante. Picks him out of the sky. And the Fuel, again, a good engage off the Cole.
Yep, that's right. They finally get the clean fight they want to and send Houston Outlaws all the way back to spawn. Nice late kill on the Crimzo by Sparkle to delay things even more. Only about a minute and a half for the Houston Outlaws now. And remember, this is a knockout match. If the Houston Outlaws drop this map, they are out of contention for the June Joust. Dallas Fuel, you know, they still have to play another Series 2 before they're in, but they'll get one step closer.
Yeah, and also, this has to be quick, Doha. They cannot have this go into overtime, or it's also essentially over. Sparkle opening up the duplicate. Dallas Fuel up to 3 tanks. Juby answering the rally. And rally is strong. For a moment, the Outlaws are going to be able to just push the Fuel back. It's going to drain most of the time off this duplicate. Sparkle, though, leaving a parting gift before it's over. Bomb to the back. Not going to get anything. Piggy remeching. Crimzo with the Cole. The Outlaws moving in. Death Blossom from Doha into the back. Does it get anything? No. The Outlaws still fully alive. 43 seconds left to go. They still need to clean this up fast. Bomb to the back. Does it get anything? No. Fuel able to get around it. Both teams fighting tooth and nail here. Fearless, though, has the nano, making some space, looking for anything. The Outlaws, though, still totally healthy, but not for long. Hoppin's bomb catches one in the chaos, and now the Outlaws are just about done.
Yeah, they're going to have maybe one more desperate fight here, but the delay, if they can get the delay onto Piggy, and they did a little bit, then they're going to be in a very good spot to win this one. And, you know, that said, it's been all about the time bank ZP2, and you know, like you mentioned, if this gets finished by Houston, they're going to do it in overtime. That means the best they can hope for is a draw, which, again, keeps them alive, but barely. Dallas,
oh
no! Houston can't even get to the payload, and that's the end of the series. Dallas Fuel will win it in a 3-0. Oh, ZP, the Battle of Texas kind of came and went with a whisper this time, didn't it?
I mean, it wasn't a battle for Texas, Doha. This was just a disagreement where the Fuel came in and said, hey, we're going to be the better team. We're going to win this, right? And the Outlaws just said, yeah, okay, that's fine. Just take it. This wasn't close. It wasn't much of a battle. The Fuel were playing on a different level the entire way through, and I think a lot of people are going to look at this match and just go, meta versus seemingly not meta, and, you know, that may be the takeaway, Doha.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? Dallas certainly has a meta lockdown. They know how to play this composition extremely well, and everyone did their job. You know, they moved in as a unit. They were very well coordinated, and for them too, for Dallas, you know, they're going for the repeat. They won the May Melee. They want to do it again in the June Joust, and this is a convincing way to sort of get there.
Yeah. I don't think the Gladiators are particularly happy to be facing the Fuel, especially with how good they looked here today.
Yep, that's right. Well, let's check out our player of the match, and it's going to be the one, the only Fielder. Talked about this a little bit earlier. You had been mentioning all day long how this guy was building the coalescences faster, and sure, you know, maybe it seems like kind of a meme to pick the Moira for the player of the match, but she holds such an important role in the composition, and Fielder played that well.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's how you have to look at this. And yeah, some people go, oh, separate the player from the meta. No. In this case, they're one the same, where for 2 maps of the series, it was very simple. Fielder got Cole, used Cole, Fuel won battles. Like, it wasn't a whole lot deeper than that. He was getting Cole every fight, and the Fuel were simply on their back. Or, sorry, the Outlaws were simply on their back more often than not. And, I mean, it's as simple as that. Moira's a pretty strong hero in this meta, and not running it, woe be to you.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. Does that look like the face of mercy to you? Well, no, obviously it's Moira. But the point is that he has no mercy for you. It is a cold, relentless, calculating killer on the Moira, and played his role in this composition well. Build it faster, use it better, and there you go. ZP, that's it. That was Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws. It was very short. Hopefully we get a little bit longer of a series with the next one. But if you're a Dallas fan out there, hey, that's one step closer to the repeat, isn't it?
I think all of this is your fault because you're the one that branded us as the 3-0 casters. Yeah, because you brought that into being.
You're right.
You brought that into being. It's a thing.
You are correct. We do attract 3-0s like moths to a flame for some reason, but we haven't casted Gladiators yet, so we'll see the effect on that moth. We're not going to do it though. The next one, we've got a different series there, but we have an interview with Sparkle coming up in the game break, so don't go anywhere. Lots more Overwatch League today to look forward to. We'll see you in just a few.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Pringles. We're joined now by Sparkle from Dallas Fuel. Sparkle, congrats on moving on in the knockout rounds. 스파크 선수 안녕하세요. knockout 전에 이제 두 번째 라운드로 올라가시게 된 거 정말 축하 많이 드립니다.
이야! 허!
야호! 야호 더 크게! 더 louder!
야호!
There you go, I like that. All right, so my first question for you, Sparkle, is it was another fierce, you know what, it wasn't really a fierce battle, let's be honest. Yes, it was a battle for Texas, and Dallas was once again victorious. And we haven't really seen the Outlaws play for some time. How did you guys prep for your first match against the Houston Outlaws in the knockout rounds? 첫 번째 질문은 이 휴스턴전이 또 한 번 다시 이렇게 일어나게 됐는데 또 이번에도 역시나 달라스 팀이 승리를 거두시게 되셨습니다. 그걸로 인해서 이제 두 번째 라운드로 이제 올라가시게 됐는데 오늘 휴스턴전 좀 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요?
휴스턴전은 저희가 그저 하던 대로 이제 지금 메타가 뭡니까? 이제 댈러스의 메타다. 어쩔 수 없어요. 저희한테 질 수밖에 없습니다. 죄송합니다. 이게 아니고 어쨌든 준비는 그냥 하던 대로 했고요. 딱히 준비한 건 없어요. 네.
Alright, so yeah, sorry guys. Alright, so yeah, Sparkle says that like there hasn't been any specific changes or anything that they really prepped specifically for Houston Outlaws, and he said, what's the current meta right now? It's the Dallas Fuel meta. There's no way that Dallas Fuel can lose in this meta. In the current state of Overwatch, it's Dallas's time. So yeah, that was a really nice answer. Thank you, Sparkle, for making me laugh. 굉장히 마음에 드는 답이었습니다. 감사합니다. All right, second question for you, Sparkle, is we've seen you sort of play multiple heroes throughout the series today. We saw you sort of pop off on Doom. We saw a little bit of Genji, but you quickly swapped out of that, and also Echo as well. Was that sort of your decision to swap, or was it a team decision? 자, 두 번째 질문은 오늘 경기에서 에코는 당연히 좀 굉장히 많이 플레이를 하셨고 겐지도 살짝 했다가 안 했다가 그다음에 또 둠피스트도 좀 저희가 좀 본 것도 같고 해서 그 영웅을 이렇게 바꾸는 게 어떻게 개인적인 의견, 개인적인 생각으로 지금 이때 좀 이런 영웅이 맞겠다 싶어서 영웅을 이렇게 바꾸신 건지 아니면 이게 좀 팀적인 전략이었는지 뭐였나요?
이게 제가 좀 그런 조합일 때 제가 뭐를 해야 되는지 확실하게 좀 약간 아는 편이라서 즉흥적으로 했습니다. 그래서 이제 상대 맥크리 리퍼 조합이 옛날에 프로 할 때부터 둠피스트가 좀 이제 많이 먹히는 거 알고 있어가지고 했던 것 같아요.
죄송해요. 맥크리랑 뭐라고 했죠? 맥크리랑 뭐 조합이 둠피스트가 잘
맥크리 리퍼요.
리퍼요? 오케이, 알겠습니다. Right, so it wasn't really a team decision per se. It was sort of I did it on the fly because I sort of know like which heroes are good to counter certain compositions. And for this time, when I used Doomfist, I used it because I know that if the enemy team is using McCree and Reaper, I knew that Doomfist would work really, really well, and it would be very effective to sort of fight against that. So that is how I used other heroes such as Doomfist on Hanamura. All right, so that is it for the interview. Thank you for your time, Sparkle, and good luck. We'll see you very soon. 오늘 인터뷰에서 너무 감사드리고요. 그러면 이제 좀 이따가 다시 또 만나도록 하겠습니다.
네.
Thank you. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you to Sparkle. What a guy.
What a guy.
Absolutely in love with him. Yeah, what
Dallas
a guy.
Fuel meta. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it there first. And you know what? He might very well be right. It's not even a bold prediction here. It is Knockout Sunday though, which means it's bracket time. I love brackets. You guys love brackets. You guys, I don't know if you love them, but you get them anyway. And we're going to show a lot of those today. Dallas Fuel, they just defeated the Houston Outlaws in a convincing series. And the next opponent they have to face off against are the LA Gladiators. On the other side, we see the Shock patiently waiting for the winner of the Uprising and the Atlanta Reign. But we need to talk about the match which just happened. This is the third Battle of Texas this very season. Another great one. If you are a Dallas fan, that is. If we're looking at how it all played out, Kasta, I think a lot of people would just be very disappointed at the, I dare say, lack of adaptation from the Houston Outlaws. It looks like they came into this match with what they thought is the answer to Dallas Fuel's con, but it wasn't. They didn't really do anything else.
And that's inherently the issue that I think every Houston fan is like crying out right now. Like, you can't take anything away from Dallas. They played very well. They're on the warpath. Last time they started doing this, they ran all the way through the May Melee. So I'm starting to become a Dallas believer and a Sparkle believer right now. But the storyline was definitely Houston not executing well at all. The compositions had a lot left to be desired. They came in obviously with a strategy of the McCree Reaper. That is how we're going to beat this Lucio Moira Rush star from Dallas Fuel. And as we all saw, it didn't work. And that was a big problem, but something we've been praising the Houston Outlaws for so much is their ability to adapt, their deep hero roster, all these kind of things. They didn't do any of those today. They didn't play Dante on Echo, they didn't make any flexibility subs, and then in the last map, when their backs are against the wall, instead of making a weird adaptation, putting someone else in, they just decide to mirror against the Dallas Fuel, one of the best teams at this composition. Disappointing for me. Obviously, we don't know what happened in the Houston Outlaws camp, but I wanted more, and I think you can agree, Johnny, we both predicted them, right?
Yeah, we both predicted them, and we had big expectations for the Houston Outlaws. That being said, though, like some of the takes out there, they're just wild cuts now. I don't think, you know, they lost 3-0 in a very brutal fashion, but I don't think they had to make like major overhauling kind of changes to actually have a chance to win this game. Yes, Dallas Fuel, they ran them over, but it was honestly about the small things for me. Some people are pointing out that Juby playing Brigitte was just like a waste of space because he kept dying first all the time. He was a big target for Dallas Fuel. That's not necessarily Juby's fault. Look, he's playing this hero that is a big target for the Dallas Fuel. I don't think he would have done a lot better on Lucio. I actually think Lucio would have been a worse pick, because then what? You're gonna leave out your tanks to dry? If he had played the Lucio here, he wouldn't have been able to protect Happy on the McCree to begin with. They would have speeded away from the Dallas Fuel. Yeah, they would have disengaged. But then what? Dallas Fuel, they're just gonna target the tanks. Because there's no armor to go around. There's no one to help out the tanks. So I actually think Lucio would have been quite a poor pick in this composition. So let's get that out of the way. Secondly, I actually don't have a big problem with playing this McCree comp to begin with. Because I think if Dante had just played the Echo, and then you can play the McCree, I think that would have solved some issues. Because the Reaper, I think that was the big takeaway for me. Yes, you play Reaper in this composition. You play Reaper in this meta. Because it protects your space, it makes you stand your ground. We talked about this before, how Death Blossom is sort of like a no-go kind of zone. So when you build up that Death Blossom, you can use that to fend off the Dallas Fuel and make sure they cannot dive onto Happy. The problem is, Dallas Fuel, they are playing so fast. When are you gonna build this Death Blossom? Hanbin is gonna use his defense matrix, and by that time is out, then you've already lost the fight, so why does the Reaper make sense? I would have rather seen an Echo and a McCree, because that way an Echo could have poked away at Dallas Fuel, longer range, and made sure that Dallas Fuel, they're forced to engage with lower health and faster than they would necessarily like to. Because the Reaper is not putting any pressure onto Dallas Fuel to poor engage whatsoever. So in hindsight, I actually think they could have made a couple of small adjustments. You know, it's the playoff, it's the Dallas Fuel, they're a very tough opponent. But don't just rag on the Houston Outlaws like they don't know what they're doing. I think it could have been a lot closer, but it just a few minor adjustments away, and that was loses you the game. You know, Dallas Fuel, this is the top tier elite Overwatch. All the minor details, they go a long way here, Zoe.
He's so angry.
Right, yeah.
I love this.
It's okay, Johnny. Johnny, it's okay. It's all right.
Okay, so we got a disappointed Costa, very, very angry reinforced. And Danny, you've been gloating
telling you how it
ever
is,
since
Zoe.
20 seconds into the match, to be honest. Like, I thought you were premature. Like, I kid you not. Like, they were barely out of the gates and he already started. But, I mean, you were right. They were.
I was, and you know, I sort of feel like, you know, by watching this match, it sort of answers some of the questions that we had going into the series, because Dallas Fuel, they've only been sort of using that rush comp, and you know, honestly, it worked. It worked against the Houston Outlaws. So like, I think the answer is yes. Like, you know, they are only using the rush comps because they're that much good at it. Like, they can make it work in any map, in any situation. It sort of shows how good the Dallas is at this comp, and you know, sort of, you know, whether the enemy opponent is using different comps, whatever, if they are this good at it, then they just keep going with it. You know?
Why change
Why
it
change
if
when it works?
As long as it works, right? Well, now moving on to our next match, where we will determine who will face off against the San Francisco Shock in the next round. Thanks to the Gladiators' victory over Paris, Boston Uprising actually slid into those knockout rounds, and they will be facing off against the Atlanta Reign, who they had a great start in the June Joust. However, they haven't played an official match in this new Rush comp yet, and we may have to see if they're going to adapt from their double shield, which actually got them here in the first place.
It's actually going to be really interesting looking at the previous match and then looking at this one, because Boston is another team that very heavily favors this Lucio Moira style and just run it everywhere they can. What is the Atlanta Reign going to do? Are they going to try and mirror it? We have heard from Danny earlier and from players that Atlanta Reign is going to be adept on the Lucio Moira, or are they going to come out and play their double shield and try and counter it? It's going to be an interesting clash of styles. I am worried about Boston Uprising because they're not the Dallas Fuel. They can't really, they haven't shown the willingness and the ability to just one-trick this comp and have success. So is Boston going to try and change things up, or are they just going to stick with that? And then is Atlanta Reign going to have the answer? That's the real question, I think, for this match.
I love that sentence, just in general. Like, I'm very worried about insert team name because they're not the Dallas Fuel.
The Dallas Fuel.
It works on everything.
That.
I'm just going to start analyzing like that.
I like that. Now it is time for Pringle's bold prediction. Reinforced, you were so close yesterday, actually, with your Mac and Smurf Primal Rage kill prediction. I think there were only like 4 Primal Rages off.
Something like that.
So close that you came in today and you wanted to go again. What's your bold prediction for today?
Yeah, I got a bit of a bold prediction because I was thinking about this matchup, and like Costas already mentioned, Atlanta Reign, I think they'll play a bit slower, you know, play a bit more static with Adorisa, while the Boston Uprising, they will dive aggressively playing this Echo Reaper Moira Lucio composition. So we have seen some Torbjorn this tournament, so why can't we see a Torbjorn melee kill, you know, in honor of the National Day of Sweden? I love that. Come on, let's see a Torbjorn hammer kill. I think we might see some Torbjorn, it's not guaranteed, we might see it, and if we do, Atlanta Reign, if they're up 2 or something, just pull out the good old hammer. Just pull out the hammer and let's see what you can do with it. I'm predicting a break.
I like that. For the birthday. I like, no, this is perfect. This is everything we needed. Now it is time to dive into the action of the second match of the day. And as it is time to hand it over to the best from the west of Europe, ZP and Doa.
It just keeps changing, but it's all accurate.
I'm just
happy that we can stand here as a 4-person unit, happy that our prediction in the first match was true. You know, it was us against the former pros that we talked about. You know, I had the other channel muted, so I didn't hear Johnny's rant, but I'm sure it was great. It was kind of like they all bleeped it out. But you know, I'm just happy that you know, for once, we got to be the victors. It feels good.
I'm just hoping that we see. I'm just hoping we see a 3-0 sweep, so we get rid of you casters and get some on you. I can't deal with this match anymore.
Wow.
But Johnny, in that case, what hope does the audience have for the desk? Like, you guys are here all day, so
that's the worst.
Look, I can't have CP and Doa here to prove me wrong the entire time. Okay, I gotta think about my reputation. You're making me look bad.
I haven't casted so many 3-0s since I casted when Johnny was playing back in some of those Korean tournaments. So it's on the other side
today,
too.
guys.
So this season has been interesting. Yeah.
All right.
Well
played. I love you too, though.
Wow.
Well played.
Okay. All right.
Well, we'll catch up with you guys later. But ZP, you and I, we kind of have attracted like a 3-0 scores this season. I hope this one won't be one of them. But Atlanta, you know, certainly is coming into this with the team with the upper hand, it seems like.
Yeah, they are. But on the same note for Atlanta, if you had to tell me, hey, I'm an APAC watcher, but I don't know much about the Reign. Can you describe the Reign for me? Here's my description, though. I'd say, well, you know, there's Seoul, but generally with a little bit less of a higher upside. And that's a problem with the Reign is that they look really good. They have a lot of talent, but they don't always show it, but they always surprise, I suppose, one way or another.
Seoul disappointed me last night as a bit of a, you know, I'm an objective caster, but I'm also off of the cast, totally biased towards Seoul. But it was a bummer last night for sure. But let's talk about the teams in this series, though. ZP, we're going to take a look at Boston, which, like the desk said, they kind of snuck in here at the last moment by virtue of some other happenings that happened elsewhere in the results here. But Valentine, I'm 37, Stand 1, Kabelshi, Myungbong, and Faith ready to go today. They have been kind of embracing the meta, but doing it at a level that Dallas is showing us is tough, isn't it?
It really is, and I do think you have to give credit to Boston because this is a team where, you know, they're not a team that necessarily was able to sign the most stereotypical of superstars going to the offseason, but they've signed good players, they've made things work, they've gotten better as the season have gone on. In fact, a lot of people thought, hey, this team might be way better than expected based off scrims. You know, they came into the season a little bit slow, but the June Joust has been pretty good for them, and, you know, if any team could upset Atlanta here, I definitely think Boston has that ability.
Yeah, it's certainly possible, and it is going to be a good sort of test again of the meta versus the less than meta that Atlanta has been kind of playing too. and I'm not 100% sure which is better at this point. Obviously, Dallas has shown us the peak of this popular comp right now, the Neo-Goats, as it were, but there are teams out there like the Atlanta Reign that have been sort of like bucking that trend a little bit and looking good doing it. So I don't think there's a firm answer yet, but this match is going to be a good sort of examination into that question again, I think.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, is that Atlanta is a team that probably will not be coming in and running the so-called metas where we saw Dallas just bulldoze Houston with. Now, on one hand, you go, okay, this is exciting. Maybe Dallas doesn't have all the answers. But on the other hand, if you're an Atlanta fan, you go, well, gee, if they get through this match here and they make it to the June Joust, are they just going to get rolled over by Dallas? We just saw it happen to Houston. So, a lot of questions, Doha, still yet to be answered.
Yep, that's right. And we're about to get into this series again. It's a knockout match, everybody. Whoever loses this will not make it into the June Joust. Whoever wins it will go on to have to play another match. So they're not out of the woods yet, but you at least want to get to that next step, and it's going to all start here on Lijiang Tower, our control match. And I've been looking forward to this one. This has been a fun week, ZP, because we've gotten to cast a lot of teams that we've been watching all season, but haven't had a chance to call their games yet. So it's nice to kind of jump over to the western region here and do some of these matches.
Yeah, it really has been. And also, I mean, we've been able to bring brevity to this region by causing
That's
an
right.
influx
The matches
of
were too long before we showed up.
We're the efficient casters, we get in and we get out.
That's why we speed run it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, here we go. Welcome to Lijiang Tower, Boston Uprising, Atlanta Reign. You're going to get things started on the night market. There are a lot of stores that are on like the side of this map. If you go on the other side, not the point. A lot of little shops and things there. You can buy whatever that is in a can.
Yeah. I always look at that. It looks like milk, but it's like, no, it's a can. You don't know what's in it. It could be some form.
When have you drank milk out of a can, ZP?
I mean, surely it's happened at some point. I feel like it's not that crazy. It doesn't really happen in America.
I feel like I've seen some... Now, in Korea, they have these, like, yogurt-like, sort of milk-like drinks that you get out of cans, but this isn't quite the same.
Also, okay, the Reign, they've decided to bend the knee. They're not
never
going
mind.
here with the recent composition, and...
All right.
Yeah. We don't forget it.
Well, forget everything we just said in the pre-show, then. Atlanta
Ready
Reign embracing the meta now. Yeah, that's right.
And
but Iris down. Iris down out of the way early on, and that's not going to do Atlanta Reign any favors. It looks like Boston are going to get the edge here.
Well, Doa, I've checked my sources, and if your Moira dies instantly, you can't use Cold. It's an actual fact.
That's true. Yeah, true facts. Yep. Well, early, easy point A take by Boston. How much percent are they going to get away with those? It looks like Atlanta's going to re-engage here in a moment, but the Coalescence coming out way earlier for Boston.
It's a huge advantage for Boston. Now we'll see if they're able to capitalize. Again, they're looking for Iris in the back, and Boston gets caught on 37. Right place, right time. And with the support's gone, the Reign will be forced back.
Now, Iris will have his Coalescence for the Reign next time. But by the time they get back, it's going to be 30-something% for Boston. They've got the sound barrier to use. They're going to have both DPS ultimates as well. It's going to be a bit of a bigger fight when Atlanta get back, but still a good start for Boston.
Yeah, I mean,
Can
I think
Atlanta
this is a fight
beat them in their own game?
Atlanta really should win this fight if they want any hope to bring back this round. And they're going to open up with the duplicate. They have both support ults online. They have everything they need to just bring the battle to Boston, and that's what they're doing. Immediately onto the point. Boston, no, they're going to fight Doha. They drop the beat early on here in response to Atlanta. Atlanta, they've already gone through most of their tools and utilities here. The Uprising, they're still full. Gable Sheet going to drop the self-destruct. It catches Masa. I'm 37, though, down on the other side. 5v5. Boston, though, has done a great job of hanging in at ult disadvantage. They build up the Coleman fight. Gator, gone. As Myeongbong is just able to wave the laser around, and Atlanta, not going to happen.
Yeah, Hawk trying to give his team a clean disengage here so they don't lose a few more people. They do lose Edison on the way out, but everyone else escapes. But Boston holds the point. They are into near one-fight territory right now to try to take this round. And Atlanta Reign, I'm curious, if they do lose this round without getting any percentage, are they going to maybe change things up for round two?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think they would. Obviously, they have different styles they like playing, but this fight is what matters. Stan Juan moves in. Primal ready to go. Edison was able to get to the back, though. Right. Death Blossom gets 2 with the aid of Gator. And that's going to be enough for the Reign, at least, to get on the board. But as you know, Doa, coming back 99-0 in control, it's difficult.
Yeah, for sure. We've talked about this so many times, where if you're the team with 99%, you win one fight, and then you come back and win the round. because the time it takes the defending or the opposing team to get back is usually not enough for you to finish things off a little bit. But Boston, without a lot of tools immediately to use here, without a lot of ultimates available, they might take a little bit of time. Atlanta Reign trying to build up some percentage here. They finally got the composition to kind of operate the way they wanted to, and they even have the coalescence for this defense too.
Reign hanging on here still. Both support ults in the bank. Boston, a little bit of a tough entry there, going through the door. And as a result, they're just going to back out. And, they have time to play with here, Doa, but that's a pretty big win for the Reign. They didn't have to invest too much in, just the dupe throws it over and in.
Yep. Well, we talked about this in our first series today, too, where, Dallas found themselves in a similar position in the first round, and they were able to take this time. They had the luxury of building up all the ultimates they wanted to come in and engage on their terms, and that's exactly what they're going to do right here. Myungbong with the coalescence. Ooh, doesn't really...
They're looking for the Echo.
He's really chasing Iris. Oh, no, he gets Pelican, rather. Pelican down. All right, Cable-Shi, though, falls on the other side. And this is not over. Here comes the sound barrier.
Yeah, it's 5v5, still winnable for either side. Gators Primal, though, about gone. Valentine out of the dupe. And all stand one close, so close. Oh, he can't use it in time. Edison finishes him off right as it comes online, Doa. And that's going to be enough for the Reign to even things up here. Now it's one fight to decide it all.
Yeah, Reign looking much more stable here on the defense than they did when they were trying to attack initially. That said, Boston going to come into it with both tank ultimates available, maybe a chance to do something there. Remember, they already are at 99%. All they need to do is win a single fight, and they'll probably take the round, but Atlanta Reign basically there as well. Here we go.
Iris real close to the Cole. Edison, though, down immediately. Boston pounces on Edison. They get rid of the threat. Valentine, though, out. Once more, 5v5. Iris, Cole, good to go. Looking for anything right now. Not a lot of great targets. A little bit onto D.Va. Good focus fire towards the end. Nearly gets made. But the Uprising, they're still at 6. Stand one, though, down!
Ooh.
The bomb comes in. Pelican finds I'm 37. And the Reign bring it back from 99 to 0.
Wow, I mean, they struggled to take the point initially, but once they did, the defense was pretty stellar. And it was Boston that kind of struggled putting that comp together. I mean, that is one of the points I think that's a little bit tougher to attack than it is to hold. But at the same time, that's an achievement for Reign to be able to come back from 0 to 99 and take that first round. And that is a blow to the morale on the Boston side too. You come into this one, everyone's saying you're the underdogs, and statistically that is true from the matches we've seen. It certainly looks that way. And then to have a round taken away from you like that, it hurts. I'm 37. That was kind of sneaky though. Oh, but that was a nice boop. See ya.
I got back on the battleground, only to get booped off again.
Yep. Here we are on the second round here on Lijiang Tower. They make it across the bridge at least without anyone getting pooped off.
Yep, both teams engaging once more. Atlanta doing a much better job of protecting their supports this time around than they did in the beginning of last round. It's an adaptation that served them well so far. Both teams filling each other out. Both teams still pretty healthy. As you just see Hawk playing in the damage side. Oh, here comes the focus fire. Stand one low. Taken on down. The Reign picked their moment to strike. They get rid of the main tank of the Uprising. Gable-Shi, not exactly in a great spot either. This is looking like the Reign should be able to get point A.
Well, I mean, if you watch the percentages on the Moira, which is what a lot of people should be checking out at the beginning of a lot of these fights, Myungbong got his just slightly too late to save stand one. They're going to continue to fight here, but Pelican in there with the duplicate. And with tools like the self-destruct, it's going to be hard for Boston to get the point and contest this. Yeah, stand one down again. He just got back. That's tragic. Atlanta Reign gets a good percent started here, though.
Sometimes you look at someone's name Stand and you go, actually, your name should be Sit, as he goes right back to spawn. And well, right now the Reign are doing a great job of maintaining their advantage, and the Uprising might have been a little bit too eager to get back into the fight there, Noah.
Yeah, I mean, Cable-Shi does get one at the very end with the self-destructive zone, but that is just going to end up being a delayed death for him, and even longer now for Boston to wait before they can re-engage here. And Atlanta Reign already pretty much halfway there.
Yeah, I mean, the Reign, they had a little bit of a tough start in round one, and yet they've made some adjustments, have protected their supports far better, and all of a sudden it's the Uprising that have to do some adjusting of their own, because the focus fire onto the tanks in particular has been really good for the Reign. They've been giving themselves more space. And now we head into the next fight here, Doa, where the Uprising, they open with Cole. It's Cole v. Cole once again. Death Blossoms out. right now.
Yep.
Iris just going between offense and defense, but balancing it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he kept everyone healed that he needed to keep healed. They did demech Cable Sheet during all of that as well. So that's a big tool out of the way for Boston. Now they lose Myeongbong. That is tragic. Atlanta Reign in a good place to keep this one going. Iris does drop to stand one's Primal Rage, so maybe a chance here, but Pelican
the one thing of note,
picks up one
Boston
as well.
was able to flip the point temporarily there. I mean, they still lose the battle pretty decisively, but they stem a little bit of the bleeding. But it's still one fight left, and you look at the ult situation, it's going to be beat v beat, but the Uprising, they need a hero play, Noah.
Yeah, pretty much. Gator has the Primal Rage as well. They're going to use it aggressively. Ooh, that was close. Nearly knocked Ibushi off there, but stand one down again. Like you said, ZP, the targeting of the tanks from Atlanta Reign has been stellar. And now without that Winston, I don't know how you take this point if you're Boston. They're trying to sneak it from behind, but Valentine down now too, and it's looking good for Reign with the 2-0 here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, like I said, the answer to that question is you don't. They lost too much too early. The Reign have easy cleanup, and wow, what a comeback for the Reign for how round one started. They bring round one all the way back, and then they just crush round two. So the Reign looking pretty good, Doa, as it turns out.
I would say so, and I mean, this is a great sign if you're an Atlanta Reign fan going forward that they can certainly play the meta as it has been dictated by the other teams here if they want to, and a strong performance doing just that on Lijiang Tower. But it's only the beginning of the series. Already players like Masa getting those bloodthirsty support kills, get some nice boops. You love to see it, if you're an Atlanta Reign fan at least.
Yeah, probably not so much if you're a Boston fan, but I think for Boston, they're still happy to be as far as they are, because it's been a rough few years for them, and still looking better than they have historically, though this was a rough map.
Well, we'll see if they can tie it up when we get back. Don't go anywhere. The Overwatch League returns just after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Hey, welcome back to the Overwatch League, everybody. Let's check out our player resume presented by Indeed, and we're going to look at Myeongbong. So, in the first map, Moira was, he's a decent Moira. I'll give him that, right? But it just didn't work out for Boston, did it?
No, not quite. And I mean, this is one of those storylines we've seen a lot in this meta where you have incredible flex supports that, by virtue of the meta, are put onto Moira, where, overall, I would say that you don't get to really show your chops as an incredible, playmaking player when you're on Moira, just not what the hero does. You're about consistency on Moira, but, Myeongbong, you think about him and his history, you think about great plays on Ana or Zen, and, it does limit his playmaking potential a bit, though.
Yeah, it sure does. And I mean, as a flex support main myself in Overwatch, there's times where you realize your team just needs a Moira, and you're not necessarily thrilled about it. And I mean, if you like playing Moira, that's fine. She's a fun hero. But, sometimes your team just needs that healing just all over them all the time, right?
Yep.
So, it's Kai as well, subbing in for Edison over on the Atlanta Reign side. It looks like they want to switch things up. You're going to the map too, huh?
Yeah, I think haters of the current meta, as it were, see Kai come in and they go, wait, he is here to deliver us from what we have seen, because, Kai's entire resume is being really good at single-shot hit-scan heroes. So if Atlanta was going to play something like an Orisa with McCree, well, subbing in Kai would make all the sense in the world. And, Doa, you think about how that composition works, I can see why they wouldn't want to try and play the McCree on Control. Control, you think back to last series, that was the one mode where Houston got dominated on the hardest because it's hard to make it work there. But, now that they're off Control, Atlanta probably thinking, hey, we can slow things down a bit. Maybe we can run the McCree. And that's what I would expect here in this one.
Yeah. Check this out, too. We do have a leaderboard presented by Xfinity here, reminding us that way back in the ancient times of 2018, Uprising did actually get the record for attack on Anubis, and they still hold that record by 6 seconds, which is pretty amazing. It was a very different team. It was a very different time, but it is significant. That's a record that may never be broken, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back quite a ways, and, very different meta, very different players across the board. But, hey, it's a record nonetheless. All the details fade with time, but the records, they stay.
That is true. So, Boston would just like to improve their record in this series to 1-1 if they could help it. That would be the ideal scenario as we get things started here. Boston is going to be on the defense. Atlanta Reign will be on the offense, and we already see in Spawn. It could change, but a little bit different. Going back for the double shield comp that they've used quite well this season.
Yep.
See what Kai decides to do.
And this is what I think you have to expect, and for Kai being subbed in. So, Reign has kind of tipped their hand a little bit here, Dilla, where it's like, if Edison's in, they're playing the meta. If Kai's in, they're going off the rails. We'll see if Atlanta can deliver us a new take on what's going on, or will Boston crush them under the weight of inevitability?
We'll see. Off the rails, huh? Well, Hawk does swap back to D.Va off of the Sigma, so not quite double shield anymore. I mean, I guess Brigitte has a shield. All right, so they still do have two shields. You know what I'm talking about. But it's all on Kai, right? Brought in to be the hit scan specialist, and Atlanta Reign kind of gets some free real estate on the high ground here. Boston Uprising diving in now. We'll see if they can turn it around. Ooh, and a kill on Kai helps.
And that's what we're going to see here. We saw it in the last series with Happy being public enemy #1. We're going to see it here where Boston goes, you're running a Cowboy. Well, I guess we're going to dive that Cowboy all day long. And the question for Atlanta now is, these teams have gotten better at this, Dupligotes dive. How do you protect Kai?
Yeah. Going in again as Atlanta Reign tries to set up, but they're going to lose Gator to this nice aggressive move by Boston. I really like this. They know that they're shorthanded. Why not be aggressive? Try to hold back this push even more, and they do just that. They're forcing Reign all the way back now.
I just imagine McCree in the scenario, and you just tell him, it's like, all right, here's what you're going to have to do. Everyone's going to try and kill you, and we're going to vaguely try and protect you. It's like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yep. It was a song in the 90s that was like, where have all the cowboys gone? It's like they were jumped on by a giant monkey. What do you think?
Yeah. That's how they went extinct.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly. That's where all the cowboys have gone.
Well, we'll see if Kai can be protected this time around. The Reign have gone up to the high ground. One hurdle gone, but guess what? Here comes a Cole. You're in a tight area. It's dangerous. Oh, the Cole's down. Hawk punishes Byungbung. Kai able to take down UP37, and not a bad start for the Rain. 4v4 here so far. The Uprising, though, full committing. They drop the beat. The Primal, though, has faded. Stand 1. Getting pretty low on HP. Still protected by the Immortality Field, but not for long. Pelican from the back. That should be point A.
Wow, Pelican says you can't defend this point. And Atlanta Reign should get a lot, if not take it outright.
I didn't realize Pelicans spoke like that. I thought Pelicans just made bird noises. I've been enlightened here.
No, Bird Noises was a totally different team, ZP.
Yes, true.
Yeah, you should know that.
Yeah, from NA.
Let's check this out again.
Say that,
wow, just no defenses left. Yeah, the shield is almost gone, and Pelican with a easy Death Blossom read there to make sure that fight went Atlanta's way, and they are already pushing on to point B here.
Yeah, the Boston Uprising, they kind of forgot about Reaper and what he could do. And, it did kill big dragons, but did enough, as it turns out.
Pretty much.
But now the Rain on the way in. Kai with some room to work with, waiting, looking for the Moira. Forces out the fade early. Exchange now going up over the top. Deadeye, good to go. Kai playing a platformer here.
What in the world? Boston, are you trying to give up your record? I mean, you didn't, but still, that was really fast by Atlanta Reign. 4 minutes and 3 seconds in the time bank. What just happened? I look at Reign right now. They're having a great time, but I don't know. It's like Pelicans all just boomed Boston out of existence. Like the defense was just not there on point B. It happens to everybody, but you hate to have it happen to you during the knockout tournament. And that statue is clearly displeased. Look at that arms crossed. Like, I'm so disappointed in you, Boston.
Yep. Honestly,
Wow.
I think Gator expressed what thousands of people probably just expressed all at once, dropping the C9 in chat, because even, that term gets used a lot, sometimes accurately, sometimes not. That was pretty egregious, though. That should not have happened the way it just did.
Seriously.
Oh.
Wow. Well, you don't see that happening all the time. Let's take a look at that. Let's see that replay again. All right.
Part of why that happened.
Weren't there?
Well, yeah, and part of why they weren't there, Boston Uprising said, look, it's Kai. He's mountain climbing. He's climbing on top of the rocks. Remove him from the premises.
Yeah,
you're so. Ugh, I don't even know.
You're exactly right. I mean, they did go on the Grand McCree chase, but when both tanks commit to that, someone needs to stay on the point. And you saw that, while Kai was pressured, quote unquote, a little bit, he was also doing things like keeping Myungbung zoned off the point, right? And no one else was really there. Gator just stood on it and took it. What can you say? But great start for Atlanta Reign. We'll see if they can get a solid defense here going as well.
Yeah, they don't even need a solid defense. They can have a terrible defense and still probably be ahead on. Interesting.
That is unfortunately true, ZB.
Oh, the Uprising. We'll see how they move in. And Pelican's getting so much damage from the top end. It ends before it begins. Yeah, you got to challenge Echo, I think, a little bit more there, Noah.
Yeah, well, Kai there is the executioner, picking up 2 in the end. And, Pelican and Kai are really doing a great job of pushing Boston back once more. So Boston, unfortunately for them, didn't really get much in terms of ult percentages off of that. Anyway, they got about a little over half a coalescence, and that's about it. So as far as early soft pushes go to build up those resources to use later, even on that front, it's not great. Ooh, nice dynamite. Really well timed by Kai. That's just a bunch of annoying damage to deal with if you're Boston.
That's how you summon Bob. You put a bunch of people on fire, and that's kind of what Bob likes. I don't know. That's why Bob is able to be summoned. He's like, you set 4 people on fire. Put me in there.
Smell smoke.
Well, he's ready to go.
He is.
Bob Fire's been lit.
Ready to drop from orbit or wherever it is Bob is. I assume he's in a spaceship, and he just comes down.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
all
right, Bob's out. Oh, Immortality Field so well timed. Kai barely staying alive. Ooh. That is unreal from Iris to keep Kai alive as he picks up 3, but he shouldn't have lived there to begin with. What a save.
No kidding. I mean, props to Iris there for having one of the most clutch Immortality Fields I've seen, and now this is just a really annoying stagger on Gable Shi here. Taking him out right before he gets the mech back. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I just love the expression. It's like, yep, that's a stagger.
Yep, this is my life now.
Well, The life for Boston is that this could be a quick 2-0 if they don't get something going to it. Only 2 minutes
Not like
left.
this, CP.
Point A. It's our
Not
fault.
like this.
We're
it is
so
our
efficient.
fault.
We're
Across
so
NA,
efficient.
we're the speedrun casters. Don't do this to the West region.
Yeah. Production loves us.
Well.
We make their days shorter.
I guess so. Hawk and Gator have their ultimates ready to go here too, so it's going to be even tougher for Boston. There's the drums do go down. Stand 1 takes it out right away. So Boston being methodical about this. Ooh,
Yep.
Kai.
Hunt's
All
Kai
right.
challenge going in again. Gator's down early.
Gator's down. Yeah.
Kai getting real close to the Bob. Immortality field already out. But, well, Boston loses stand 1. Boston gets a res on the Gator somehow. Kai, though, out of the fight. Wasn't able to get out Bob. And Boston still in a really good spot. I'm 37, waiting. Death Blossom ready. Does he use it here? Shouldn't have to. Yeah, this should be it.
Yeah. I mean, you try to hold it right now if you're I'm 37. You've pretty much got this point on lockdown. You'd hope. Well, maybe. I mean, this is a nice delay from Atlanta Reign, at least eating up some more time from the time bank. But yeah, you do have the point on lockdown if you're Boston. So any ultimates you can save to go into point B is going to be super helpful because you're already going to be down on time. You need to take this one fast if you're the Uprising.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem is they're already going to be setting a lesser time bank no matter what. But, you know, more than anything else, their number one concern, just finish with time, period. And we'll see if they're able to find the opening. You know, at this point here, not quite as good for the Ash in terms of sightline, so expect Kai to be under more pressure. And already, Cole out, but I'm 37 caught as Kai punishes Valentine, both DPS down, and this push already over, Noah.
Yeah, and again, another great immortality field from Iris that Boston just can't apparently deal with. And looks like you might have a swap. He did just use Bob, so maybe you can swap to the McCree here. Yep, that's going to be the changeover. That flashbang going to be a little bit more useful overall on this point. And Atlanta, good place to keep this defense going.
Yeah, I mean, everything's looking good for Atlanta thus far. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left for the Uprising, where they're just fighting to stay in it at this point.
Yeah.
Now, just take a look at them heading on the left side. They have to go quick, though. They need to put attempts on points.
They do, but they want to take a little bit of time as well to make sure things like Stand 1's Primal Rage are ready to go, because it's going to be so hard to decisively win a fight. Like,